Want some candy?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch.
Give me some sugar, baby. Like scary movies.
Want some candy?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ghouls and goblins, welcome to another episode of Monster Candy Podcast.
Crossing the Streams edition.
Crossing the Streams edition. Yes, that's right. Unfortunately, Shotzi Blackheart is off wrestling, being a ballsy badass as always with WWE NXT. But you have Screamin E from the Memphis Murder Men here. Great. And you do have me. My name is Dominic Davey from the band Tsunami Bomb and the podcast 3 Gigs. Guys, welcome back. You are now going to enjoy part 3 of Caged, where we look at 3 movies by Nic Cage. Now that we're at part 3, I'm not sure why I agreed to this. and I have my doubts as to why this was a good idea. Part 1, if you didn't catch it, was Mandy. We did not like it. Part 2 was Color Out of Space, where I liked it, but I thought Nic Cage was kind of the worst part of it, and you were not so into it. And today we already watched for you.
So you wouldn't have to.
Ghost Rider.
Oh, man.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So I got a lot to say about this fucking film. But before we do that, as always, let's talk about
horror news.
Nice. Thank you, Shotzi. As always, she's with us in spirit.
Shut up, Dom.
Thank you, Shotzi. Alright, horror news. What do we got?
Everything's still fucking canceled.
Everything is still... You know, it's really funny that everything's so canceled. When we're looking for horror news, you can tell that nothing's happening for the most part, because it's literally all the sites are talking about, here's some movies to watch at home. It's like, there's nothing,
God.
like, I mean, we're getting closer to not being canceled, but then more people are dying, so we're kind of living in a horror film.
You know, let's talk. Before we get into horror news, let's talk about music news and how fucked we are.
Yeah, we spent a little bit of time talking about this before we started recording. As far as the music industry goes, like, I'm glad, I'm so glad for Shotzi that wrestling has been deemed an essential service in Florida, but for the rest of us in our particular end of the entertainment industry, we are FUCKED'd. There will be no shows
Ever.
I mean, on the West Coast until...
Forever.
I mean, they're talking fall 2021 at the earliest. For other states, it might be different, but even then, you're taking in, you know, like, what musician wants to put people at risk and how many people want to be at risk.
And travel and expense. Is the cost going to be worth it to go and get a door deal or whatever?
I know, it's all going to be door deals now. Those guarantees are out the window for the most part. Smaller clubs are going to, you know, if they don't get help soon, they're going to shut down in, like, massively. And by smaller clubs, guys, just so you know, when people talk about these independent and smaller clubs, they're talking about clubs up to a capacity of 5,000. Like, it could be a 100 capacity club, that little bar in the corner. It could be a 500 capacity all ages club like Gilman. I think that's a 400 or 500 cap. And it could be 1,000 capacity. It could be a couple thousand, but it's like
They're fucked.
I mean, the bigger ones, maybe not as much as the smaller ones. It's hard to say. But, I mean, even when shows come back, how many of you are going to want to go to shows? I mean, you'll want to go, but will you want to go? I mean, will you want to let somebody else be a guinea pig for a while? And then, it's going to be, the capacities are going to be nothing like it was. Like, because who's going to want to pack in sweaty?
The show is sold out at
Yeah.
30 people.
At 30 people. Like, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. And we know it. So, like, E and I have had to discuss some real honest truths about our industry and our ability to tour in the coming years. I mean, you have to laugh. Like, you said it best. You have to laugh. It's at a point now where it's
so
like,
ridiculous
you
how
know,
fucked it is.
there's so many clubs already closing down nationwide. I don't know. I'm really worried about a lot of the behind the scenes people that we rely on to have shows. I mean, stuff will happen, but I mean, it's going to be a couple years before it comes back.
So good luck with that, everybody.
Yeah, so
we wanted to bring you down.
Yeah.
To start everything off.
Yeah, right. There's a good note to bring everybody down on. I mean, watch Shotzi on TV. She's performing in front of no audience and throwing herself all over the place, Lord knows, for your entertainment. As for us, probably your next time...
We're not making that much money to be able to, to do that shit.
No, we aren't. And I mean, that's the funny thing. We there was a point when we were doing more than Shotzi was doing, and then now she's the rock star.
Oh, how the turns have tabled.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm thrilled for her. Like I want her to kick all the ass. It's awesome, but it's like, yeah, man, this is an interesting time, and it does affect horror because nothing's being done. I know that there's talk of some things coming back on. They're gonna start filming soon. And
speaking of the times, the fucking Rona is bringing back drive-ins.
Yeah, you were saying that drive-ins are doing
pretty good. And for last weekend, the two movies that topped the box office were Jaws and Jurassic Park.
That's amazing.
Spielberg versus Spielberg.
Well, he does do a good spectacle. I would love to watch those at a drive-in.
Right.
You know, I have often thought that America has moved a little too quickly in canceling some kinds of things, like movie rental stores and walking away from physical movies, which I'll get to in a moment. But like drive-in movie theaters, like I don't know why they were dying out. That shit's fun. That's a fun night. Like, it's just fucking fun, and it's perfectly suited for this.
This
world.
climate.
Yeah, this world. So it's like, I'm sure some people. There's got to be people out there that in their lifetime they walked away from the drive-in and now are like, oh, what was I thinking?
Drive-ins are the shit.
What were you thinking?
What?
They almost died out, and now it's like.
Thank you, Rona.
I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing drive-ins reopen.
That'd be rad. A lot more of them.
I mean, that would be one thing that AMC and all those like movie
open
chains,
a drive-in.
They could just open a drive-in and see what happens. You gotta think they're thinking it. They must be thinking it. Because if they had a drive-in, it could be open now. I mean, I guess movie theaters are opening up again. I don't know. It's weird. It's rough. I mean, if you're anything like everybody else, guys out there, you're all bummed. But this is coming out in a couple weeks. Maybe things are better. We're pre-recording this. This will be about a month before you guys hear it. Maybe things are great.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
Okay. Well, where are we at? So Jaws
and Jurassic Park. Top the box office.
Top the box
buddy.
Office. That's hilarious. Oh my god. That's great. Okay. Because of drive-in movies. Good for them. What else do we got? I got something. For everybody who is a fan of the VHS horror anthology franchise, I guess they're doing a reboot. VHS 94. It's a creative team behind Ready or Not, which I loved, and The Night House, which I haven't seen yet, and I got to get on that. David Bruckner, who wrote the script for it, he'll produce it as well. Filmmaking collective Radio Silence, who did Ready or Not, which is a great film. And contributed to the first collection of VHS, will also produce. And they, I guess those guys are going to be directing the upcoming Scream sequel. Like, who's left? They're just going to put Duffy back in that movie again? Like, David Arquette again and make him run around?
Yeah, what's her name? Is supposed to be in it,
Friends girl?
Yes. Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox.
There's a lot of shit going on.
Alright, fuck it.
What else do we have to do?
Right. Among the directors who will do shorts for it, we have Simon Barrett, who did You're Next. That was great. And The Guest, also good. Timo Tahan... Oh, man, I messed up everyone's name. Timo Tahanto did Netflix The Night Comes For Us. And newcomer Chloe Akano, an AFI short slut, did it. And there are a bunch of other... There's a lot of short sluts out there.
I'm one of them.
You're one of them. E is the only short slut I care about.
Aw, that's sweet.
I think that it's pretty crazy. I enjoyed the VHS films. I didn't love them.
They're not my favorites.
I love anthologies, but I haven't always been happy with some of the anthologies out there. Like Trick or Treat is my favorite. I love that one and how it's done. I think it's really creative. Some of the others wasn't so big on Tales of Halloween. VHS 1 and 2 were okay. ABC's a horror that I didn't like. VHS was okay. They had some good ones, but it's uneven.
And I hate VHS tapes.
Yeah, VHS tapes are pretty rough.
Which annoys me, and I've said this many times. The whole collecting of VHS tapes and watching them and shit. Look, do whatever the fuck you want to do.
No, if you love them,
you love them. But God, I hate them now.
I don't get really nostalgic for old mediums. Like, I'm already over CDs. Like, I'm fine. CDs can go away. Like, I don't need them. The only thing, I can barely play them anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't get really nostalgic for that stuff. I'm not all about streaming either.
VHS tapes, it's like...
But VHS tapes, I was never...
If it's something that's out of print and was only on VHS or whatever, I get it. People, I get it. But they're basically 8 tracks. Why? Just why? Why collect them? They take up way too much room.
They take up a lot of
The
room.
quality is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
If you're DVDs would still be the ideal thing if you're going to collect something physical, I would think.
DVDs, Blu-rays,
Yeah.
all of it.
But
okay, whatever you want.
It just annoys me.
It bothers me, though. On one hand, we can say that. On the other hand, I just saw... It's usually you that brings up The Last Drive-In on Shudder. Every episode. Every episode. So I was hesitant to talk about this time. Because it's me bringing it up. But their season finale, they did Hellraiser, which was great.
Hellraiser 2, right?
Hellraiser 2. Yeah. And that was great. And Joe Bob brought up this. He had this monologue in the beginning where he was talking about the importance of physical media, and that this one company was going to not stop making Blu-ray players and DVD players and 4K players, just outright stop. And that means there's only about 2 companies left that are going to be making them. Sony. I mean, there might be more, but you know what I mean, like good ones. And he's worried about that because it's just so easy for all of us to allow Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, which is Disney, decide what movies are worth our time and space on their servers. Now, he loves streaming. It's been good to him. Put him on Shudder. And Shudder is a great one because there's a lot of obscure shit there. So they do good work. I love that. But they don't got everything. I mean, there's a reason they're doing Hellraiser 2, not Hellraiser 1. I don't think they have it. So, right stuff kind of prevents certain things from happening. But I'm just saying, like, he articulated a lot of my thought of why it's still important for horror fans, especially horror fans. If you want to support horror and horror movies, you really need to do physical. Because, I mean, you go to those horror conventions, and the independent filmmakers what are they selling? Their short films, their short horror
DVDs.
films on
Yeah.
DVDs and Blu-rays, and it's like you want to be able to keep playing that stuff because that stuff will not end up on any of these streaming channels, and they will gatekeep. They are changing. They are editing. They're taking things out. They're forcing them to adjust it. And if you want to see some of these, you know, sometimes it's like, especially if it's like Disney controlled, like you're looking at a lot of pushback that they could get off of a scene that might offend. And yeah, horror, real easy to offend. So it's like, if you want to support horror, I can't say this enough, while we're not fans of the VHS cassette tape, because, and that's really a personal taste, because it's a shitty format, but not everything's on other stuff. I 100% support people and recommend for all of you to think about going out and getting, you know, a Blu-ray player if you don't have one, a DVD player, something that plays these physical media, and building up your collection of movies that matter to you and obscure fun shit that you find, because that's
Cloud is going to get fucked one day.
Yeah, we're dependent on it. What happens when Hulu gets... Well, I don't think Hulu's going anywhere. Disney's got it in their clutches now. But you know what I mean? Like, but that it's still up to them. And if it ever goes away, then it goes away. And we're not in charge of what gets put up there. You know?
Nope.
There's so many gaps. And sometimes, you know, most of the time they're rotating stuff. You know? They're rotating streaming material in and out. So some things are available for a while, and then they go away, and then other things come in, and that's great and all. But, like, if you have a favorite and you want to support horror, get yourself a physical player.
Yeah.
Keep buying
What
physical
happens when you
material.
want to watch something right now and you don't have that physical copy? You can't watch it. That's what happens.
Well, you know, it's just you know, we're just putting them in charge of us and our collections, and I don't know if that's the right way to go. I think it's a great service. I love Shudder. I love I mean, you know, Amazon's problematic, but I do love the content. Netflix I stopped watching, but that's my reasons. You know, Disney Plus, Hulu. It's like they're all cool in their own way, shape, or form. There's a ton of
It's
them out
convenient as another tool to have to watch
there. stuff. Yeah.
but you should always have the physical copy.
Right. So, I mean, you know, if it's got to be VHS, do your VHS, fuck it. But, I mean, I think you should do something if you're a horror fan. And if you're not doing that, I think you're making a mistake.
So yeah, take that.
You put that on your plate. Sorry, I've been watching Mrs. Maisel, and that's a hilarious show, which I have to recommend. It's not horror at all, but it's awesome. What else do we got in horror news?
I don't know. What was the Hellraiser thing we were talking about?
The Hellraiser thing. Well, looks like rights could revert back to Clive Barker in 2021, much like the Friday the 13th fight, with screenwriter Victor Miller engaging in a lengthy legal battle with director Sean Cunningham's Horror Inc. Dozens of other properties we had mentioned before are in the midst of shifting hands back to their creators. And Bloody Disgusting reported that entertainment lawyer Larry Zenner just dropped the bomb that Clive Barker has sued for a declaratory judgment that he can terminate his 1986 transfer and get rights back to the Hellraiser franchise. This wouldn't happen if effective until December 19th, 2021. That would require producers to get a new movie out before then, and they'd legally be in the clear, but nothing new after that date, if he manages to get it, which I think he's going to, because it basically what happened, the reason all this is happening for people who don't understand, Congress made changes to the copyright law in 1976. It's a provision in the copyright law in which a creator of an original work must wait 35 years before they can put forth a claim to obtain and reclaim the works that they have created. And the claim must be submitted 2 years before the termination date. Otherwise, well, you know, could be worse. This is allowing people, like, basically stating that somebody who bought an original work has had 35 years to play with it and they got to give it back. But this is interesting because there's a lot of horror movies, these big franchises that are reverting back to their original writers, which could be very interesting for the franchises. They can make new deals. There could be new movies, a revamped take on it. So we'll see.
Because I think after that turd of a Hellraiser we deserve and even me being, I'm not the biggest Hellraiser fan.
Right.
That remake was bad.
You know, people liked it. There were some people who did like it, but like what bothers me is that Clive Barker went back to them and tried to get, after seeing Evil Dead, that remake of Evil Dead that we talked about. I think it was 2 episodes before. I don't know when we talked about it, but he wanted to do that for Hellraiser, and he wanted to use Douglas Bradley. He had this whole plan. It was going to be super gory, crazy effect driven. He was really inspired, and they told him no and made what they made. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but god damn it.
The True Value version.
How could you not want to bring, like, could not see the value of bringing Clive Barker in? And that's the kind of stuff that leads to these sort of reversals. Because if you cut these people in, like, man, they've been flogging these creators' work for years over movie over movie over movie. It's like the least you could do, cut them in, help them out. Yeah. You know,
especially when you
work with them.
You know, or at least have a good idea that the product will probably be good.
It could be good. And obviously look at like a situation like Halloween,
right,
where new people came in and it was still great. You know.
Yeah.
And John Carpenter was actually excited about this version and contributed the music.
Yep.
Which is everything. I loved that. And fans loved it. But something that's interesting is that in April it was announced that HBO has ordered a Hellraiser series with David Gordon Green, who did Halloween and he's doing Halloween Kills, directing the pilot, and Michael Dougherty, Trick or Treat, Krampus, and Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'm a big fan of his. And Mark Verheiden, Battlestar Galactica and Heroes. Battlestar Galactica was a fantastic remake of a show. Heroes started strong and got weird. They'll be penning the screenplays. So that's interesting. Those guys are all a talented bunch. That could be a really cool thing. I didn't know that was happening until this. It'll be interesting. I would love to see that happen, but then again, I would love to see Clive Barker get control of his story. I mean, it's based off his book, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Just do it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I guess. David Bruckner was also attached to a new Friday the 13th, is currently developing a new take on Hellraiser for Spyglass Media. Project was fast-tracked until the ongoing pandemic put a wrench in everything. So Paramount Pictures was rushing to get a new Friday the 13th. I don't know. We'll see. Everything's kind of screwed up now.
Oh, Rona. Rona.
Mm-hmm. Well, for those of you who don't know more about Clive Barker's ownership of Hellraiser, check out his book, The Hellbound Heart. Very different version of it in there, but worth checking out. Pinhead is in there, but she is a she, by the way. So, interesting point. It's a good book. He's a great writer.
Check it out.
All right, so that's it?
That's it.
All right. Lead us out, Shotzi.
And that was horror news.
There we go.
All right.
Thank you, Shotzi.
True that.
Before we get to this cinematic masterpiece that is Ghost Rider,
I'm kind of pissed off about this movie, to be honest. I got lots to say. Yes?
let's first discuss a little bit of something that you told me to check out on Shudder, which is Blood Machines.
I forgot I told you to check out Blood Machines. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blood Machines. Both interesting and confusing.
Yes, both of those things.
And boobs.
Lots of boobs, yeah, lots of boobs.
That's what I got out of this thing.
Yes. I'm glad you checked it out.
I honestly still don't know what the fuck I watched.
Blood Machines is a short film that's been split into 3 episodes on Shudder. It is visually crazy looking.
Super crazy.
And it's really cool. Let me see if I can bring up some information on it. I should have been ready. But I recommended E to check it out, and you just heard his response. It looks like a music video. An artificial intelligence escapes her spaceship to turn into a female ghost and challenges 2 Blade Runners to a galactic chase. Directed and written by Seth Ickerman.
I didn't even...
starring Lisa Lasowski, Anders Heinrichsen, and Christian Eckerson. It's like a sci-fi horror psychedelic trip. It really looks like a film reel, in a sense, like trying to show off what these guys can do.
Very Event Horizon.
I mean, visuals, but the visuals are even better than Event Horizon. Like, this is like a beautiful... Did you ever see Kung Fury?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. I think it was using similar, like, programs as that. And honestly, similar programs to Mandy and...
Yes. It reminded me of all those movies,
Color Out of
actually.
Space. Yeah, there's a little bit of there's something about it. But it's really cool, and it's worth watching. If you can find it someplace, if you don't have Shudder, check it out. It looks like this guy's the director and writer and visual effects guy. This is definitely his film reel. He was trying to get himself out there. It looks like this is his only credit. Yeah, Blood Machine. So, but it was an impressive debut. I would love to see more from this guy. But man, especially if you guys disagreed with us about Mandy, you like the psychedelic shit, you'll love this. This is sci-fi psychedelic, crazy looking designs for ships.
And boobs.
It's a lot of boobs in it, no joke. But it doesn't feel... I don't know, you guys gotta check it out. I say check it out, but it is weird. And the plot is a little thin.
Yeah, like I said, I still don't... I don't know what the fuck was going on. What you explained... Sure. I guess that could happen.
I mean, somehow AIs were becoming sentient and escaping from their ships as new beings. And then becoming a force to reckon with, involved with the natives of this one planet. And these bounty hunters are wrapped up in it.
Something like that, yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
It's interesting for sure. So you guys should check it out.
Yeah, you've never seen, well, I won't say you've never seen anything like it, because if you've seen Kung Fury, Color Out of Space, and Mandy, you've seen some things, but not quite like this.
Yeah. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
Albeit, but confusing. So,
Yeah. So check it out. Blood Machines.
So yeah, Blood Machines. Shudder.
Blood Machines.
Get Shudder
It's
if
on
you don't have
Shudder,
it.
but it's out. It's in some other spots. You can find it out there. Check it out. It's worth it.
Cool.
Worth your time, horror fans.
All right, Candy Killers. Now it's time to get down to part 3 of Caged.
Okay, I gotta tell you, this fucking movie. I had to pay to rent it because I don't have Netflix anymore.
Should have just streamed it illegally.
I paid $3.99 to watch it, and I watched it for you guys. And like a Jewish grandmother, I'm going to guilt trip you all for the rest of this movie. I literally drew a comic strip of myself watching the movie, and I look so sad.
It's true, he showed me.
One of the notes I put here is, I hate this movie. I've been really easy on Nicolas Cage.
You have been.
Through this thing. And this movie is exemplifying everything wrong with Nic Cage.
Yeah. There is definitely a pattern which holds true, which is there's one movie going on, and then there's the movie Nicolas Cage is in.
Here's the thing that really pisses me off about this movie. Everybody involved, and I did do research. Everyone involved was passionate. Came to this project passionate about Ghost Rider and making a kick-ass Ghost Rider. And to find out there were so many people and so many good actors. Peter Fonda, Eva Mendes,
Mr. Easy Rider himself.
fucking what the fuck? Sam Elliott, the great Sam Elliott,
Donald Logue.
who is the best part of this movie.
Yeah. If only Uncle Eddie was in it.
Wes Bentley. Wes Bentley as Blackheart, son of Mephistopheles, was in the middle of his decade-long heroin and cocaine binge.
Yeah.
And took this movie, among many others during that time, just to pay for drugs. And straight up admits it now, like, that he did that movie for drugs. And, you know, he's having fun with it. He does actually a pretty good job. No, he doesn't. Actually, it's terrible. I just thought of things he said that are just fucking terrible. This movie is so... Nicolas Cage he's not in a different movie. He's in this movie. He drags great actors, they all down. Like, and then I found out that Nicolas Cage had an effect on some of the lines. Like,
let's talk about this. Let's really get into it. Okay. In my opinion, the movie started off as it kind of starts off as like a fun comic book movie. I'm like, okay.
Well, you get Sam Elliott's narration,
right?
And he sounds good, but I actually have a note that made me mad when he says, like, the thing about legends is sometimes they're true, and I'm like, that is just the most hack line.
Yeah.
But Sam Elliott's voice can melt butter.
Right.
It is a great voice. Why that man is not doing voiceover work all the time? Like, I'd like him to read me stereo instructions while I listen to the audiobook
fucking
of it.
Mustache.
Dude, he sounds like...
He sounds like his mustache.
He sounds like the best... He's got the best Western voice.
Okay. So, like I said, starting off, I'm like, okay.
Best thing about this movie, Sam Elliott. You heard me say it.
Because I've never seen this movie. Well,
I haven't seen it either.
I liked Ghost Rider when I was in comics when I was a young kid. Didn't really get into it. Like, I knew the different ones.
Yeah.
Johnny Blaze, Dan Ketch, you know, all that shit.
No, I knew about
But
Ghost
I never
Rider.
really got into the lore. So, I mean, even still, I can't... Because I even looked it up on Wikipedia. I'm like, all right, well, what? I'm like, all right. Like, I don't know all this shit, you know?
I mean, it's
but,
close enough.
So, enter Nicolas Cage. Right away. First of all, young Nicolas Cage...
Played by Matt Long.
Okay. Young meaning like 18, 19, whatever.
28.
Yeah.
Depending on how old
He
the
doesn't
oldest
look
guy
at
is.
it. I always have an issue. Like, if you're going to cast someone as young, the girl who played Ava Mendez's character, young, looked like her.
Kind of looked like it. Yeah, Raquel Leslie.
Right.
Yeah.
Young Nicolas Cage, hunky dude. Nicolas Cage, not hunky dude.
Well, I mean, he thinks he's a hunky dude.
I guess he does. He did, though. He was pretty ripped for this. But I'm guessing that's probably going to be some steroids.
Oh, yeah, for sure, steroids. They don't compete. You know, he doesn't have any reason he couldn't use steroids, to be quite honest.
So, the other thing...
Some people were saying it was computer generated, but...
no, that looked...
It.
No, that looked like...
It looked like
a personal trainer and some roids.
Yeah.
But... the fucking accent. Now, I don't remember Ghost Rider being some fucking, like, rednecky country guy.
No, he was a city kid.
So I'm like, And his accent was the worst Elvis impression.
I have a note that said, I thought Screamin E loved Elvis. I knew that Nicolas Cage loves Elvis.
Yes. This was shortly after his Lisa Marie thing. Because this is, 2007? So it was shot in 2006. I think they were married from, somewhere around there. So this might have been right after. Anyway.
I'll look it up.
Hey, man, it was like the worst Elvis impression ever. And I'm Nicolas Cage. Like, it's bad. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
He kept doing the pointing.
Yes. The Elvis.
And I know that part of that was Elvis, and part of it was because that's something Ghost Rider does. Like,
yeah.
He points out, it's like, guilty, innocent. Like, that's a thing he does. Like, he renders judgment.
But even when he's not Ghost Rider, he's still doing that. And I'm like, God damn it, man.
He was married to Lisa Marie Presley from 2002 to 2004.
Right.
This came out in 2007.
So, in the
He was
ballpark.
with Alice Kim.
Yeah, in the ballpark. So, yeah, there was that. And right away, I was like, oh.
I think he was married to Patricia Arquette.
Yeah. It's like, this is going to be a long movie to sit through.
Dude, it was. The fucking... I wrote, I hate this movie. The Devil's Shadow was stupid. How can you make Peter Fonda sound terrible? Okay, let me back up. Ghost Rider is one of those characters that is awesome in comics. It looks really cool to draw pictures of a Lord of Vengeance, Spirit of Vengeance, on a flaming motorcycle with a flaming skull head that goes through and gives a penitent stare as you feel the guilt of everyone you've wronged. That's such a fucking cool concept for comics. But but when you take that character and you make it a real character in a movie, all you can think about is how stupid it is. It looks stupid. It's dumb. It's fucking dumb. And you know who else is like that? Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Silver Surfer with like some good Jack Kirby inspired artwork looks fucking sick. Like seeing a silver humanoid naked surfing on a silver board through the cosmos is sick as shit.
Basically Iceman.
But then when you see it, but when you see it on the screen, and granted, Fantastic Four, so Rise of the Silver Surfer, whatever it's fucking called, is not a great movie, and it looked kind of cool. It's just a dumb idea, because then you start realizing that Silver Surfer was just sort of a crazy character that looked crazy drawing that looked cool back in the 60s, and Ghost Rider is a crazy drawing that looked good back in the 70s, and they look cool on paper. But they don't look cool in real life, because then you realize that's an alien riding a surfboard through space, and then it's like, it's just basically a flaming motorcycle with a flaming skull. Like, that's kind of silly.
Yeah. It's... Oh, man. Ghost Rider's really cool. This movie was not.
Yeah, and by the way, looking over the Wikipedia for Ghost Rider, this is very close to Johnny Blaze. He was a stunt motorcyclist.
Right.
Saved the life of his father, gave his soul to quote-unquote Satan. It's actually an archdemon named Mephisto.
Yeah, the story...
Yeah, at night, around evil, Blaze finds his flesh consumed by hellfire, causes his head to become a flaming skull, rides a flaming motorcycle, wielding blasts of hellfire from his body, usually from skeleton hands. He eventually learns he's been bonded with the demon Zarathos. 1972 to 1983. It's kind of cool. It looks cool. It's cool to look at in a book. But this is just bad.
They did kind of merge the two Ghost Riders a little bit. Johnny Blaze and Dan Ketch, like with the chain, because I believe the chain was a Dan Ketch thing.
Yeah.
The newer
probably.
Ghost Rider. Or
Okay.
But the motorcycle was definitely, like that chopper, was full on 70s Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just me being nitpicky. But whatever. It doesn't take away from the fact that Nicolas Cage sucked again in this movie.
But he brought everyone down. Like, Eva Mendes's entrance is terrible. She seems awful in this movie, and she's a great actress. She's absolutely gorgeous. They have this really weird scene where she begs this waiter, asking him if she's actually pretty, and the waiter's like, meh. And I know that seemed funny in the meeting, but, like, Eva Mendes is a beautiful woman. Come on.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to tell her she's not. It's just... it's just the lines are awful, the transformation's awful, and I'm not being mean because the effects are from when they are from. Like, actually, 2007 effects, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It actually looked really good. And I know they all cared. Like, the director put in his own money to make sure that helicopter scene happened because the studio wasn't going to give the extra money because the budget was blowing up with everything. I mean, the hairpiece on Nicolas Cage took 3 hours to apply. I guess it looks good. It just looks weird because we know that's not his hairline. That's not what his hair looks like.
Yeah, it's just bad. What was the... He just plays everything so fucking campy, and I get it's a comic book movie, you know? And there's... You got your campiness in the comic books. I get it.
But this is comic book movies where people did not like comic book movies before. This
Yes.
is why they didn't do well, and everyone thought comic book movies wouldn't do well.
Yes.
But I don't understand. Everybody wanted this movie to do well. They were all really serious about it. Well, I mean, I feel like I'd just be drinking. They must have known how shitty this was. Like, the lines are so bad.
What did he say in the beginning when he gets knocked out? When it goes from young Johnny Blaze to old Johnny Blaze?
Is the bike okay?
He's something stupid, like something real like, I'm going to deliver this line and make it real cool sounding because I'm nonchalant and I'm fucking, Nicolas Cage.
The whole time he's going for cool points. And it's just like...
It's bad. It's bad.
It's so bad. Yeah. It says the West was built on legends. And legends are a way of understanding things greater than ourselves. Forces that shape our lives. Events that defy explanation. Individuals whose lives soar to the heavens or fall to the earth. This is how legends are born. Look, the great Sam Elliott can make anything sound good, but that's just crap. It was a crap line. I'm sorry, man. Like, this is so dumb. It's so dumb. I mean, morning, bonehead. It's like, oh, God. I mean, Peter Fonda, Sam Elliott, Eva Mendes.
It had like an all-star cast, too.
This is a great cast. A great cast. And I mean, the things that they made a really amazing voice. Because that, as Ghost Rider, when it's Ghost Rider talking, when he transforms into Ghost Rider, it's Nicolas Cage's voice. With
Let's talk about that first transformation. Where he does... what he did in Mandy.
He did what he did in Mandy, and what he did in a scene in Color Out of Space.
Yeah.
The weird cackle.
Where it goes from agonizing pain to this insane laughter.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, man. What are you doing, Nicolas Cage?
But I mean, the lines are just so bad. Like... Johnny Blaze, now you're gonna have to trust me. Caretaker, what? Played by Sam Elliott. Why is that? It's like, he may have my soul, but he doesn't have my spirit.
But he doesn't have my spirit, man.
Fuck you. Like, what the fuck? What? Oh, and then the response to that, any man that's got the guts to sell his soul for love has got the power to change the world. You didn't do it for greed. You did it for the right reason. Maybe that puts God on your side. To them, that makes you dangerous. Makes you unpredictable. And that's the best thing you can be right now. It's just, what is happening?
The thing that really annoyed me about this movie is that...
One thing?
Yeah. The thing. Well, aside from fucking Nicolas Cage and his terrible Elvis impersonation. Ghost Rider is a pretty dark comic book.
Right.
This, I feel like if they totally played up and tried to lighten the mood of the whole thing, if this was done like The Crow, more serious and more dark,
Yeah.
I think take Nicolas Cage out of it, but I think it would have been a way better movie.
I guess Johnny Depp wanted to play Johnny Blaze at one point.
Yeah, that would have been way better.
That would have been way better.
But they got Nicolas Cage, which I feel like any movie he's in, he turns it into a fucking campy comedy. And it's like the directors almost tailor it for him that way. And allow it, I mean, you know, who knows if he's making it that way, or if that's the way the script was. But it seems like they don't tell him no.
No.
And he just does what he does, and it fucks the movie up. But yeah, like, it should have been way darker and way less
Let me give you a sample to everybody, because the voice of Ghost Rider is pretty cool. They take as I was about to say, they take Nicolas Cage's voice. They put 4 different animals in it. They play him backwards, forwards, and totally dress it up, and all of a sudden you get this crazy voice, and it sounds pretty cool. But here's the exchange. The first time he speaks, Blackheart, played by a coked out, Wes, whatever. Anyway, Blackheart, the son of Sophocles, who's escaped hell, he claps after this ridiculous transformation into Ghost Rider. Looking for someone? Ghost Rider points at him. Back to hell. Blackheart, we're not going to have a meaningful conversation now, are we? No, Blackheart, there's going to be no meaningful conversations in this entire movie. Ghost Rider responds, you're going down. Blackheart, I don't think so. Fuck you. That's what you wasted on? Like, I mean, I got, actually, the first, like, back to hell, I was like, oh, okay. But then the you're going down, like, just was awkward.
But yeah, but I could totally hear Nicolas Cage saying that. Like, that would be, like, his delivery and something he would say, man, hey, this is going to sound really cool. You're going down. Like, fucking Nicolas Cage.
No, I'm the only one who can walk in both worlds. I'm the Ghost Rider.
You're a piece of shit. It's not a good execution.
No.
I mean, it was honestly about as good as I thought it was going to be for Nicolas Cage being in it. I'm like, yeah. Even in 2007 when it came out, I was like, yeah. Nicolas Cage, it's probably going to be terrible.
I didn't rush out to see it. Maybe I'd feel differently. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't feel differently if I was a big Ghost Rider fan. I'd be pissed.
I was not a huge fan. Like I said, I liked him. I thought he was cool. Was into him. So I was a fan. And as soon as I saw Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze, I'm like,
nope.
What the fuck? That is not a Johnny Blaze, first of all. And it wasn't, as I forced myself to watch this fucking movie.
I mean, I respect Nicolas Cage in the sense that he likes stuff, and he wants to do stuff, and he wants to make sure stuff gets made. But part of me wants to be like, dude, direct something then. Like, I just think he distracts from the things that he actually loves. Like, watching him transform this hammed up transformation alone, just like, I was like he's like growling, screaming in pain, and laughing all at once, and it was just like classic Nicolas Cage.
It did make me laugh. Because I was, on one hand, I was expecting a shitty performance. But on the other hand, I was not expecting that shitty performance in 2007. And it's the same shitty performance in the last 2 movies we talked about. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? It's like he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. He's going to be Nicolas Cage in every role.
In every role.
Every single role. And
I'm going to be honest. I don't want to do any more Nicolas Cage movies. Because I'm seeing the same... You watch them back to back like this, guys. You see the same things over and over again. Oh, apparently he had to have his Ghost Rider tattoo covered up with makeup to play this character. Oh my god. And the skull was made from a 3-dimensional x-ray taken of his actual skull. That's cool.
Yeah, you do got to give it to him.
I mean, Wes Bentley has an excuse. He was in a decade-long cocaine heroin binge. What's everyone else's excuse? But hey, film debut of Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, there's that.
She plays the punk rock girl in the alley that...
Ghost Rider saves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Nicolas Cage, man. But I agree. You have to respect a guy who likes shit and is like, hey, that thing I like, I'm gonna do that thing I like that's based on this other thing I like. Ghost Rider married Elvis's fucking daughter. Almost became Superman.
Which would have been terrible idea.
But I still say that movie needs to be made.
I mean, the words were just so... The lines in this movie are just so bad.
Yeah, there's definitely some things that do not translate from comic books into film.
Also, the caretaker, Carter Slade, the original Ghost Rider, or just the last Ghost Rider in this movie, but the original Ghost Rider in Marvel Comics, he gives him the contract for the 1,000 evil souls. Gives it to Johnny Blaze, which is the MacGuffin everybody's after, because you get possessed by all those souls and gain all this crazy power to end the world. Don't ask. And then he reveals himself as the Ghost Rider, previous Ghost Rider, when he calls his horse. He hops on it, bursts into flames on this horse. Johnny Blaze goes, because they're going to go to that town, the ruins of the town, which is 500 miles away. And he's like, you better get going. And then he says he's going to got one last ride in him. And then Johnny Blaze looks at him and is like, can you keep up? And then the whole horse burns up into a skeleton horse with fire. And he's like, alright, let's ride. I mean, it's a stupid line, guys. It's so fucking dumb. And then they ride to this town, which is literally called San Vigendo. Something.
Sandy Vaginas.
Yeah, it's Saint of Vengeance. It's just so stupid. I forget how they pronounced it. It's a Spanish. I guess it's the Spanish version, but it was dumb. And they get there, and immediately Carter Slade goes, I had one transformation, and that was it. I'm out. Good luck. Hands him a shotgun, fades off into the wind. Now, like talking about how he's just tried to do all the good he could to balance out the bad he'd done. What a pointless, it was just so pointless, guys. I hate it so much. I hate it so much because it's even worse because they wanted it to be good. And I can't believe they missed this much.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I hated it. I hate this movie. I hate that I watched it for you guys. Don't watch it. 0 candy corns. One candy corn for fucking Rebels, a debut.
And Sam Elliott's mustache.
And Sam Elliott's voice. But not one bit more, because it was a waste of Peter Fonda. A fucking waste of Peter Fonda. Everything is just so forced. The crossroads and oh my god, it's just so cheesy.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff crammed in this movie.
I literally don't want to talk about this movie. You talk about it. 0 candy corns. That's what I said. I'm not going to say anything more because I'll just be yelling about this movie.
But you took the one away from Rebel Wilson and Sam Elliott?
No,
So one.
A half.
Half eaten, burning.
Yeah.
Zombie.
I'm giving it a half.
Candy corn.
I'm giving it a half for Rebel because I like her, and a half also because of Sam Elliott. Nah, I mean, they deserve both a half, but I can't give this movie a star. I can't recommend this movie. I don't want anyone to watch it. I want to take all the copies and bury it in the dirt and then cover it
and burn them. Yeah. I will be more generous than you. I will give it. I'm going to be a lot more generous and give it a 3.5 cute, on fire, zombie candy corns. Just kidding.
Fuck you.
Just kidding. I would give it I want to say 2 because I like Ghost Rider. But this is so bad. So I'll have to maybe say a 1.5 on fire, cute little zombie candy corns.
Way more generous than me. The effects aren't bad for 2007.
Right. The effects weren't bad. I do like Ghost Rider, and Donald Logue is in it. I like Donald Logue. But and Eva Mendes is hot.
Eva Mendes is gorgeous.
But
like they just underuse her so much.
And everything is so goofy.
And over the top and obnoxious.
Yeah. Not in a good way. Like I said, I think this should have been done way darker.
Yeah.
Minus Nicolas Cage. Honestly, I don't think Nicolas Cage should play anything anymore. Unless he's like a nerdy dad. Color Out of Space played that role great until barely until it needed acting.
I mean, this has completely wiped out all my faith, all the goodwill I was extending Nicolas Cage.
You were being very generous.
Yeah, I can't anymore. This is everything. And then watching 3 in a row, I'm just like, oh, fuck this.
What I think everyone should do is rent, showing my age.
Rent.
Hey, go down to Blockbuster.
You can rent it at Amazon. I rented it. I paid for this movie. I want my $3.99 back.
Yeah, but when I say rent, I mean video, cassette tape. Anyway, but everyone should watch every movie he's ever done in a row.
I'm done. That's it. So here's where I'm at with Nicolas Cage. If you want to see good Nicolas Cage performances, watch Raising Arizona, watch Moonstruck, and then if you're feeling weird and you want more, watch the National Treasure movies, because he doesn't overdo it, but he is weird, but it works somehow. It's cheesy, fun entertainment, but like, fuck you, Con Air, fuck you. Wait, I'm going to look up all the movies so I can bad talk this correctly. Hold on.
Dave Chappelle's in Con Air.
Talk amongst yourselves. I don't care who is in Con Air. The Con Air is a terrible movie.
It is real bad.
It is terrible.
But he had sweet hair in it.
All right. Are you ready? I'm going to break it down for you guys. Okay, he's good in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as the voice of Spider-Man Noir. I did like that. That was fine. Oh, man, he was a voice of Superman in the Teen Titans Go to the movies. Whatever. So, yeah, fuck you for Face Off. Fuck Leaving Las Vegas. Fuck The Rock. Fuck Next. What else? Fuck. I'm looking. He's
Gone
done
in
a
60
lot of
seconds.
movies that I didn't realize he's done. This is so much more crap. Fuck Ghost Rider.
And a sequel. I couldn't even remember that they did one, and I was like, oh, this has got to be even worse than the first movie.
Fuck the new Wicker Man.
Oh, which is, hold on, wait, the perfect movie for him, because the original movie is fucking terrible and made me mad when I watched it. I'm like, what the fuck? This movie is terrible. So if there was ever gonna be a movie perfect for Nicolas Cage,
Right.
The Wicker Man.
Fuck Bringing Out the Dead. Fuck 8mm. Fuck Snake Eyes. Don't.
8mm was okay, but again,
watch Gone in 60 Seconds if you want to see a really attractive Angelina Jolie in a blonde look, which she doesn't normally do, stealing cars. Fuck Kiss of Death.
Yeah.
Fuck It Could Happen to You. Fuck Trapped in Paradise. Fuck Guardian Tess.
Yep.
Guardian Tess. I watched that once. Fuck Honeymoon in Vegas. Fuck Zendali. Fuck all these. Wild at Heart. I don't give a shit. Fuck You. Fuck Vampire's Kiss. Peggy Sue Got Married. It's okay, I guess. I like that movie. Valley Girl.
but again, he's playing.
Rumblefish. Racing with the Moon. Cotton Club. Birdie. So if you want to watch good Nicolas Cage, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, he's in the background. That's fine. So look at him in the 80s.
Goofy comedies.
But Vampire's Kiss is where he started taking a weird turn. And he doesn't come back. And by the time he hits the 90s, his head's fully up his ass. Much respect to you, Nicolas Cage. I like what you like. I like that you try and do a good job, but you don't.
Yeah.
Pissed.
Agreed.
I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Fucking over it.
We just spent 3 episodes shitting on Nicolas Cage.
We didn't shit on him. We're shitting on him now, and he deserves it for this movie. We didn't like Mandy. He overdid it, and then he was problematic in Color Out of Space. You know what? If you guys like Nicolas Cage, watch his movies you fucking want. Don't tell me about it, though. I don't want to hear about it.
I honestly...
He's actually convinced me that he's a crap actor. After watching 3 of his movies back to back, I'm now like, nah, fuck this.
I've never heard anyone say, like, oh my god, I love Nicolas Cage, like, as an actor.
I would punch somebody in the dick that does that, even if it's a girl.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, somebody out there is like, but I like him. Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
We're out. That's it. Eat a banana. I don't care. I don't want to talk about this anymore. We'll see you next time on Monster Candy Podcast. You got anything else to say?
Oh man, so we're gonna get out of here because we're gonna go fuck with Nicolas Cage now, baby. We're gonna fuck with him.
Dude, oh my god, he makes me not even want to think about Elvis. Alright, that's it. Eat a banana. Fuck you. Fuck this. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Fuck you.
Cage part 3.
Fuck you.
There won't be a part 4. We're moving on.
You're cool. Fuck you. We're out.
We're out. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Fuck this. Stupid movie. You've been listening to Monster Candy Podcast. Want to find out more about the show? Find us on the web at monstercandypodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching Monster Candy Podcast. And you can find our Twitter at MonsterCNDYPC. Hey, we couldn't fit the whole name. What do you want from us? Let us know what you think of the show and if we're right or if we're wrong or what you want us to tackle next. We want to hear from you. Well, Shotzi and I do, but I can promise that E doesn't really care. To find out more about Shotzi Blackheart and her professional wrestling, follow her Twitter at Shotzi Black or her Instagram at Shotzi Blackheart. You can follow Screamin E's band, the Memphis Murder Men, on Facebook at TMMM official page or his Instagram at Screamin E. That's screaming with no G, add the E. For me, Dominic Davy, you can find my artwork at dominicdavy.com, my band Tsunami Bomb at tsunamibomb.net, and you can hear my other podcast, 3 Gigs, at 3gigspodcast.com or on the same platform you're hearing this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Monster Candy Podcast.
Suck my peanuts.